to episode 2 of Who's Buzzin'. For those of y'all just tuning in, Who's Buzzin' is where we take people that, I find interesting, that are on the come up in their lives, their careers, and we sit down and we just talk about it, we chop it up, you know what I'm saying? Today, I have with me the beautiful, the eclectic, I'm running out of adjectives, but all the positivity in the world. Miss Rayya Ansari is here with me today. How are you?
I'm good. Hey everyone. I'm good. Good. How are you?
I'm good. How was the travel here? Everything is good?
It was good. It was like an hour and 30.
An hour 30?
Yeah.
It did not take me an hour.
It didn't?
But either way, definitely thank you for coming out.
Of course.
You're one of those people that, I've known you for a little while. We're not, it's been some years in the gap since we've seen each other, but we've watched each other from, the internet.
Facts.
And with that being said, I've watched your, almost meteoric rise on, in the Instagram platform. So that's one thing we're definitely going to get into today. But if you're watching this, you might wonder, why is there Uno cards on the table? There's Uno cards here because of the fact that we're going to play a little game of Uno. But before we start, we already dealt hands, we already got our 7 cards. But before we do that, I would like to establish the rules.
Yes.
So I'm going to go off of you and then I'll debate you if I disagree.
Alright,
so how do you want to do this?
Alright, so the way I play, I don't usually play stacks.
You don't play stacks at all?
At all, I don't usually. Can you put a draw 2 on top of a draw 4?
Let's make it fun, yeah, why not?
Oh no, that's cheating.
Oh, whoa! Oh my goodness.
No!
You're one of those people that take the fun out of it.
No, that is so...
We cannot do it. We cannot.
Yeah, no draw 2 on top of draw 4. No.
Okay, cool. Do you play with examples?
No.
Alright, cool. We're cool. Anybody who's ever mentioned that, look at them very funny.
No example.
Very funny in the light. Let's get a couple turns before we really get into what we're going to talk about. Let's get into a couple turns. So it's left of the dealer, so you go.
Okay. You said numbers.
Okay. 5, 2.
Are you competitive?
1,000%.
Oh God.
Grew up an athlete. 6.
So if I beat you, you're gonna be upset?
No, I'm not gonna cry about
okay.
it. But
You're just gonna feel it in your heart.
Alright, I'm gonna play this and we're gonna get right into it. So hold on.
Okay.
So tell me about your background, you know what I'm saying? Like your family roots, religious roots, let's get into that for those that don't know.
Okay, so I'm a New Yorker. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I was also born in a Muslim religion, Islam. And so yeah, all my life I've been Muslim, and I also have a lot of siblings. So I have 6 sisters, 1 brother.
6.
Yeah.
6? Damn, that was
And my brother's the youngest. So yeah, I grew up with a really big family, so I'm very family oriented. In that case, where did I go to school? I went to school, high school, I went to Murrow. You know Murrow?
Of course.
Murrow, yeah. And then for college, I went to Kingsborough.
Stay local.
Got my, I was like, I'm not trying to go. I did want to go to HBCU, but it was mad bread.
No,
and to think about just paying back all that is a lot.
I wanted to go to Howard because I was like, I didn't even apply to Howard because I was just like, I know my parents don't have this money,
right.
So I'm not even going to.
Exactly. So I stayed in Kingsborough. I got my association degree in liberal arts because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was very lost, and still to this day. And then, what happened? I graduated from there. It felt like a high school. I didn't really like it, but whatever. Then I went to City College in Harlem, and I graduated my bachelor's in psych in 2018. And yeah, I'm not using my degree at all, but it was a good experience. I don't regret college at all because it taught me a lot of things. I feel like a lot of things that I learned, I probably wouldn't have learned if I didn't go to college.
That's 1,000% the way I feel about it because I'm kind of using my degree, but I feel like a lot of people don't use their bachelor's degree. I feel like people either go for a master's and they use that, or they just find something else. I know a bunch of people that graduated that found just different fields and whatever, and it's taking off. So that's that. But moving forward, I wanted to ask, because since we're talking on the topic of not using your degree and things of that nature, what was your passion growing up? As a kid, you know, especially with your roots in Islam, you know, things of that nature, what did you like to do, and what was your passion like as a 6-year-old Rayya?
I feel like I was all over the place. I always been somebody that switched like what I wanted to do. So I wanted to be a chef. Don't ask me, I don't cook, so I don't know where that came from. I wanted to be a tennis player. I did. My mother would sign us up for like free tennis courses because during the summer she's like, y'all not about to be in my house, not doing nothing.
1,000%.
So she signed up for tennis. We used to play tennis during the summer, and I actually really enjoyed it, but I just didn't follow through with that. I also wanted to be a pediatrician. When I figured out how much school you needed, I said, nah, I'm not doing that. And then what else? I wanted to be a model. Now with the model thing, I feel like, I mean, I don't know if I'm a little too old to do it now, but when I was younger, I didn't see representation of Black Muslim women or Muslim women, period, with hijab anywhere. So it was like, oh, I probably can't do this. Like, it really discouraged me in that sense. So I was like, oh, I can't do it. So kind of went to the back of my head, like, you know, until like now in like the recent years of more Muslim women being models and being on covers and being on runways. So it was like, oh, I'm happy for the younger generation knowing that they can do it. But for me now, I'm like, but that's something that really probably stuck the most with me is like modeling. So yeah.
All right, so you did mention not seeing your representation, you know, Black Muslim women. So with that being said, you know, do you see your more representation now as opposed to before?
100%. Like, you would never see a Muslim woman hijab, and Black especially, on the cover of Vogue, and that has happened. Or Muslim women walking down the runway in hijab, fully covered for the big designers. So I think that's something that's definitely here now. I mean, it could be more for sure, for sure. But I think it's definitely here now. As far as what was the second question?
Your faith and, you know, how strong has it been, you know, going throughout your life?
Yeah, I feel like that kind of was instilled in me and my siblings, like faith, and I think that's a big part of who I am and how I move throughout life. So like that's kind of like the baseline of how I decide to move and what I decide to do. I always keep that in mind. So yeah, it's been a really big part of me, and that's, you know, with the way I dress, the reason I am modest, and the reason, you know, so yeah.
Right, so could you speak more towards the, how do I put this, like, you know, because like yes, I said, you were born into that. Both your parents are Muslim and were before you were born. So is that something that you at any point had to come to terms with on your own? Because like, I am of the Christian faith, so like, I at some point had to come to grips with like that whole thing for myself. I couldn't want it because, you know, I think it goes the same for Muslims. Like, you can't want it because somebody else wants it for you. You know what I'm saying? So, what was that point for you, or did you ever just go straight through?
I think, I'm not sure what age that happened for me, but I think it was always something where I never steered away from it. Like, it never was something where it's like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. Because it was always something I lived by. Like, it was like, this is why I do this thing. It was like a guidance thing for me. So it was like, if I get rid of that, like, I feel like I'm going to be lost. So why would I do that? And actually, my mother and my father were actually both Christian. And then they converted. My father converted first when he was like, I think 17. My mother converted after, and they got married. But like, yeah, I feel like it was never, I don't know when it happened for me, honestly, but I know all my life I never really steered away from wanting to be in this religion. Like, I just always felt like it was like a comfort thing for me. And
that's what's up. So what I'm hearing is that you appreciate the instruction, you know, and
for sure,
the stability that comes with it.
Yeah.
All right, so before we jump back into this, because I ain't forget about this, I do think it's easy to see on camera your fashion sense. You know, your ability to put together outfits, you know, even with, I don't want to use the word restrictions, but with what comes, you know, with your faith, you know, and that's one of the first things I noticed about you. When I first met you, I was like, oh, she's like super fly, even though like she kind of just...
I was just crazy right there, but...
Nah, but you understand, everything was crazy.
Right, yeah, right. It was
exactly,
cool for the time.
Exactly, that's exactly what I was saying. Like, yo, like, it was 2015, like, we didn't care. It was 2012, damn, 2012. But either way, my main question is, when did fashion become something that you were, you know, enamored with, you know?
Honestly,
Like, who inspired you, things of that nature?
So my mother is really fly. I always grew up like my grandmother always be like, you need to don't go out the house looking crazy. Like it was always an emphasis of like, you know, go outside look presentable and stuff like that. My mother is very into like dressing up and stuff like that. So every time I see her, I'm like, oh, I just like that. Like, you know, getting compliments. And not even necessarily I dress for compliments, but it's like, it's just an add-on because I already know I look fly. But when somebody like, oh, your outfit's fly, it just make you feel a little better.
For sure.
But it was like, when I didn't have to wear a uniform, which was like in 6th grade, that's when I started like exploring my own style. Like, it was way different than it is now, but I was very matchy. Everything had to match. If I had a blue and pink shirt, blue and pink had to be throughout my outfit. But it was just how I expressed myself. I love getting dressed. I don't know, I just like it. Like, it makes me feel good. Like, when I look at it, I feel good. So that's something that's like really like a big thing for me, for sure.
So like as far as inspiration, so you're saying it was me and your mom?
Yeah. For sure. Because I think you just see like, especially example of a modest woman dressing the way she does, and it's like, oh, I can do it too. And I guess you take it from different people, like you see inspo, but you can't really dress specifically like that, so you kind of take bits and pieces and you make it your own, and that's kind of how my styles come about. Like,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely totally relate. Not to the mom thing, but definitely to just get inspired. And take pieces,
Yeah.
But for sure, we're gonna get back into this. It was your turn.
It was mine?
Yeah, I put that.
Okay.
I put that down.
Yeah. No.
It's 2, right?
Yeah. You and this keep changing this damn color. Oh my
Let's stop
gosh.
right there. Let's stop it right there.
Ooh, you have 2 cards. I have 2 cards. Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Trust me, we good. All right, so we're gonna get into your business a little bit here, and feel free to gatekeep whatever you want to gatekeep. Where are you shopping?
Ooh,
With such a different style that you do have, where are you, finding your pieces? Feel like I said, if you want to gatekeep and keep your styles to you.
It don't matter because nobody gonna wear it like I do. So
Wow.
it's like it don't really matter.
You hear that? Nobody.
That's how I feel. That everybody's style is so different. It's like it's okay. But yeah, I shop at Zara. A lot of the clothes that I wear, my mother also makes for me. So I get the fabric. I know what I want. She can sew really well, so I'll like bring it to her. So ask her for it, and she make it like these pants she made.
She made these. You have one.
She made these pants. Yeah, this shirt from H&M, but I cropped it. So a lot of things like I'll just like. But mostly it's my mother that makes it for me. Zara, H&M.
So what's something that your mom has made that was just like incredible to you? Like what's one of your favorite things she's made for you?
Definitely my pants. I think that's something that everybody loves and always
We
wants.
all do love
And so and that's something that I'm like really debating about because I've always, like I've spoken to people and I'm like, oh, I don't really want to sell these because I feel like that's a part of my style. However, it can make me, one, it's a benefit, it can make me bread, but also I could do like somebody said, you could do a capsule thing where it's like not everybody can get it, have access to it, but like, just like a select few that could buy it or whatever and be happy with it. But yeah, definitely my pants for sure. I'm a pants girl, so.
For sure.
Yeah.
Nah, definitely one of the first things I saw was just the trouser game. The trouser game was immaculate for sure. And with that being said, it leads me to Instagram because you said people reach out to you and things of that nature. Instagram is obviously one of the big draws of why I even have you on here because this is who's buzzing and you're buzzing on that that little platform. I don't know what happened or when it happened. I'm assuming somewhere around 2018 because I had to do some snooping because obviously I got to research for the interview. So I had to scroll down. I did a lot of these.
Yeah, definitely 2018.
So and I see now you're pretty close to about 67,000 on there.
Yeah.
So when did that change? Because I remember your IG name wasn't even what your name was. I don't want to roll you up.
Yeah, no, you got it, but I hate that name now. But yeah, that was definitely, my name was Lovely Surprise in there. Very random. That was my name on Tumblr. Really, I love Tumblr. And then like I just like people kind of know it there, so let's transfer over to Instagram.
Oh, for sure. I see.
And then yeah, but I think the change happened for me in 2018 when I was like, oh, I can actually make bread on Instagram. That's the first time that I got my first gig. I think it was with like Netflix and some other like app. and it was like to promote the show 13 Reasons Why.
Right.
And I was like, okay, they had this installation in Dumbo, and it was cool, like, but they only paid me like $200. But for me, that was a big deal. I'm like, oh, it's okay, boom.
Wait,
and then I had, it was a big deal for me because I never made money off of social media. Okay, let me get serious about it. Let me post more often and stuff like that. And so I did. Then later on that year, I got this other gig with Bumble, which is like a dating app, but it's kind of like you could also do like friendships and stuff like that. And like that one was big because I didn't know how big it would be in terms of like, I was like on billboards in like 42nd Street, on the bus, on like bus stops, and I was like, whoa. However, I wish that if it was now, I mean, it was a great opportunity. However, I wish it was now because I would have charged buku money.
Oh yeah. Tell them to bring me my money.
But back then it was like, oh, this is good, and it was exposure, but nah, like.
So they were asking you how much you wanted.
Yeah, they were like, this is the budget. But a lot of times when brands come to you, they come with their lowest budget. Like they don't want to pay you OD, but usually they have a big budget, they just don't want to pay you. So I was new to this. I'm like, oh my God, it was like $500. Okay. And that's nothing compared to what, like, you know how they use my face all over the place. You know what I mean? So, like now, they would have paid me a good amount. But yeah, that's when I realized. And then it's like kind of like, you know, especially 2020 was a big year too. During the pandemic, I gained a lot of followers as well. So yeah, it's just, Instagram is very hard though. It is. It's not easy, especially now. Because everyone's trying to do it.
No, for sure. And I try to actually stay away from Instagram when it comes to that. Like, I know it's important, unfortunately, and part of it's gonna have to end up being a part of my journey, but you know, it's just because I personally don't like the algorithm. So I wanted to ask you, you know, before I even get to that one, actually, I wanted to ask you, are you considering yourself a content creator?
Yes.
And is this what you do full time?
Yes.
All right, so now going back to the stories about Netflix and the Bumble, not checking pockets here at all. However, would you say it's a decent living?
Alright, so it depends. It depends. I mean, for me personally, it wasn't until, so I got signed with an agency in 2020, which has helped me a lot in terms of like negotiating. Wilhelmina. Okay. They have like an influencer agency.
No, we're familiar with it.
And so yeah, like they helped me a lot with like negotiating and stuff like that. So in 2020, and then the last part of 2021 is when I started seeing something. Because I feel like it does differ. Even in this industry, there's difference in pay in terms of race too.
Right, no doubt.
And so, and I feel like with me being a Black Muslim woman too, it kind of probably is a little bit more difficult because people already have this perception of you and what you can promote and what you can do. So it's like, it probably is a little harder. But yeah, you can make bread. I know some influencers making millions.
No, 1,000%.
Making millions for sure. And so I know like I can get to that point. I just have to really put my 100%. Like a lot of times, like sometimes I can get in my head about it, especially because of the algorithm. But you know, you can. I made my first 5 figures late last year, so it was like, oh, okay, we can do this for real. Yeah.
So then that leads me to the question: when it comes to content creation, from what I've seen, you tend to fall into the get ready with me, makeup, I guess skincare as well, bag, you know. And is that stuff that you decided just to do on your own? Is that your own, you know, premonition, or is that something people were asking for? Like, what's the balance of like how you create your content?
I think for me, a lot of it is what I want to do. So get ready with me is like fully what I want to do, but I do it because I know people like my style. So a lot of people follow me for my style, and so I was just like, okay, like why not just get ready with me? So people enjoy it too. Makeup, I feel like it's more for like brands. Cause I can do makeup stuff, but I know that's where the money's at. Lifestyle, like skincare, beauty, like home stuff, that's where the money is at. So like I'm kind of trying to like with my agent, like tells me like kind of just to go more into that realm because that's where you get more money. Like fashion, you get bread, but not as much as lifestyle. So that's why I'm trying to kind of switch over, but still definitely will never drop the style, but more lifestyle. Sure.
Right. So speaking of style, and you know people like your style, do you feel any, I guess, pressure or extra, you know, little extra importance every time you you get out, you go out, or you're putting something on the internet? Is there extra, thought in your mind? Do you ever second guess what you put on, things of that nature?
Honestly, no. I could walk outside looking crazy, to be honest. I just feel like, for me, it's like I'm a normal person. I don't ever want to get to a point where it's like, oh, I can't do this because of that. I mean, there's certain things, yes, you have an image for yourself, you have to be mindful of that. However, I also feel like I don't want to get to a point where I can't go down the street and like wear sweats and some busted Uggs and just not live my life, that's why I come on my stories with no makeup and sometimes a little crazy, because it's normal. Like, I want people to see that I'm a normal person, just like just have a little bit more followers. That's really it. But yeah, like I honestly go out with whatever I want to wear, to be honest.
Right. So it's basically just like however you feel, and that's
honestly.
Right. So that confidence that you have, is that always something you always have going for you, even when it's like, maybe the algorithm on Instagram may not be favoring you? It just still like, it doesn't matter, like this is just what I really want to do?
I think it's sometimes where I do doubt myself a little bit, depending, especially the algorithm. However, like, it definitely fluctuates. So I had to learn, like, some things gonna hit, some things not gonna hit. It's not like you know what I mean? It's not determined of like if it's good or not. Sometimes Instagram don't show people what you post. So it's not the fact that it's good. It's just like, you gotta get out your head and don't compare yourself. That's another thing. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. Everyone's journey looks different. She may get more followers than you in 2 seconds, but you may take a couple of years, and still, y'all may just, you just never know that person's journey or where they're supposed to be at. So don't compare yourself. That's a big thing.
So we're gonna get back into Uno, but I got more questions, but I want to dive into a different topic. So we're gonna get back into it.
Well, obviously. And
no.
I beg your pardon?
Well, there you have it, folks. There you have it. Listen, if it was up to me, feel me what happened? Because I let her shovel in the end. So what happened was, when I wasn't paying attention, setting up this beautiful scenery, she was doing something. She pulled that stick out of a pocket. Her mom sewed a pocket in there that we don't know about. That's what happened with that. Nah, it's cool. I take my losses just like I take my wins. It's cool. But I did want to get into a more serious topic, not to cut the laughter short. Mental health. Mental health is very important. And I think social media is a big player in why why a lot of us, especially people of our skin complexion, are struggling with, body image, things of that nature. So where do you fall on that, as far as, watching your likes, as far as what you see? I mean, I know you already said, don't compare yourself, but like, you're a human being. So like, can you take us through like just some of your struggles and what may cross your mind and how you get through those moments?
Honestly, for me, a big thing is like prayer. For me, and I think that's when I feel the most peaceful. So I think whenever I'm feeling a little overwhelmed or like I don't know where I'm going or like very stressed out, I just pray. That's a big thing for me. Or like I talk to myself a lot. I ain't gonna hold you like OD. So it'd be like Rayya, I have to speak like positivity in myself, because if not, like I'll really go real fast. Like
nobody gonna, people will talk to you nicely, but like you telling yourself the whole difference.
Exactly. So a lot of times it'll just be me like telling myself, oh, I have a good group and circle around me. So if I'm feeling down, like bringing somebody like, why are you bugging? Like, you like sometimes you meet it from the outside looking in, like what do you see when you see me? Like how do you see my content? Like and like people will like, be really positive about it. Like, okay, I'm just really in my head about these things. So having a good foundation and like also like a surrounding and like prayer and all that is really, really big. Talking about it, don't hold it in. You know what I mean? Sometimes like I can't. For me, if I hold things in, I'm gonna explode and it's not good for me. So a lot of times I have to speak about it. If I don't, it's just not gonna be good. So yeah, those are little things that I do, because likes and comments, it can get to you. But I also like, it does not determine your worth. But like Like just because somebody likes it doesn't mean that they actually like you as a person. It's just they like the pic.
Right.
So it shouldn't like determine like, oh, you didn't like it, so y'all don't like me. Like no, it's just so you know what I mean. It's a pic on the gram. They may not like the pic. That doesn't mean that they don't like who you are as a person. You know.
Yeah, I think one of the best things Instagram did was allow you to. I don't know. I mean, maybe for you it might be different. Maybe you keep yours on, but I know for me, I've turned like the count off. Like I mean, obviously I can see the count when I click into it, but like as far as if I just go on my page, it says this person and others.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want people looking at me like, oh, he's getting 400, he's getting 300, whatever.
Yeah.
Or say, oh, this one didn't get, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be judged by that, and I also don't want to see that.
Right.
Because I know for myself, like, I don't want to end up comparing it, even though I do have to look at it at some point, you know, whether it's YouTube, whether anything.
Right.
But you definitely don't want to fall into that thing, that little hole, and a lot of people do, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But moving from mental health, we're going to keep it on Instagram, though. Kind of want to get into a little, not messy, but, you know, a little bit. So, what's something, because I'm pretty sure not just your personal page, I'm pretty sure you're getting shared probably daily or weekly at least, you know what I'm saying, by different fashion blogs, makeup places, whatever the case may be. So, what is a comment that you saw that was like a high for you, and what was like a low? Like, as far as one was like, yeah, this is the greatest compliment I've ever seen, and another one where it's like, this person was talking, you know what I'm saying, just talking crazy about it.
Honestly, I don't really have like the best comment ever. I think all my any compliment I get or any comment that I get, I'm very appreciative of. So it doesn't like no comment is like too high or too low. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like it's just like.
Sorry, not to cut you off. I'm so sorry. So let's make it this way, because I'm pretty sure people DM you. So if you have a DM that sticks out to you more so than a comment would, and let's just swap that.
I think any DM that has to do with like a woman or like a Muslim woman coming to me and saying that, oh, like you make me feel comfortable in my hijab, you make me want to cover up, like I see them, you know, how you doing, I want to do the same thing, like you make me feel like, oh, I can still be pretty and cover up and stuff like that. So any DMs that's like that, because that's kind of like the purpose of me doing a lot of stuff that I do, is like just to show that, you know, modesty isn't boring, you can still look good and be modest. But like I feel like with negative comments, honestly, I can count on one hand how many negative comments I've gotten over the years. Yeah, like it is. It's a blessing, but it's also scary because the more followers you get, the more negativity that comes with it. But like, yeah, like majority of the time I get positive comments. If anything, it's like, like maybe like about my weight or something like that. But like, it just be like, okay, bye, block it. You know, like.
So you be hitting your part of team blocking.
Yeah, yo, I used to be. I would want to tell my sisters like don't even respond, but I be really ready to block somebody. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just block them.
I don't even be blocking them. I don't get no negative.
Because they want you to respond too, so it's like you kind of giving them what they want.
Because honestly, sometimes they love you sometimes, and they just really just want to get that. Like,
it's so weird. It's such a weird thing to me.
Yeah, it's a very weird world. But so you just talked about follower count, and that brings up the point you made earlier about, you know what I'm saying, wanting to walk outside and just be normal. But at some point, you know, I guess I think you had 66 point something going up or whatever. It's a lot. It's a lot of people. So when that reaches 100 and that reaches 150, which I'm assuming your goal is to just continue growing, and more people know you when you walk outside, you know, even before, you know, you may end up in a, you know what I'm saying, a place like LA or whatever, you know what I'm saying, wherever your career takes you, whatever.
Yeah.
So like, are you still going to take that same approach? Whereas, you know, I'm going to leave the house however I feel to, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, honestly, I don't know unless I get there. However, like people do notice me now. Like I've had people come up to me in different spaces. I don't even know. Like, oh wow, like you actually know of me and stuff like that. Like honestly, the wildest one was when I was on vacation and I was coming from, where was I? So I was in St. Lucia. And I already got my bags, and I think I was going to I was checking my bag. I was going to the woman, and before I even came up to her, she's like, "Hi, Rayya." I said, I said, "Hi," and I said, she didn't have my information, nothing yet. So I was like, okay. She's like, "Yeah, I probably next weekend." I said, "This is wild." Do you know what I mean? That's just to show you, like, you don't know who's watching, and you don't know who know of you. And there's some people that may know me and not come up to me. You get what I'm saying? Because they're like, not everybody is very social in that sense. So it's like, Yeah, that was probably the wildest one to me, like just to know, because I know there's people that know me, and I had to realize that too. Because I just be like, oh, this is followers, like it's just like, but it's people, real life people. So it's like people who are gonna know of you. So yeah, it's I don't know when I get there, but I'm gonna try to be as the same person as I can. Yeah.
Gotcha. As far as creating actual content, because I know for me, like the creativity that comes with, you know, kind of getting that together. Do you ever like experience any like blocks, like, you know, creative blocks, or just the not wanting to do it but knowing you need to do it?
100%. That's probably the biggest thing. Is the creative part. Because for me, I like to have a page of like where people come and be like, oh, like I don't really see this often. This is new for me. Like even with the music choices that I tend to use, or like just what I want to, you know, the videos that I choose to do, and like I just want people to come and have a different view of things, and like just different, because a lot of people use trendy sounds. I don't like using trendy sounds. A lot of people do like the dances, and like I just don't like doing the same thing as everybody else. So it is like to really sit down and get creative. I like to get creative, but I do have creative blocks, and so it's very frustrating. And yes, that's probably the hardest thing, is thinking of creative videos or creative ideas to just execute. Yeah, for sure.
All right, so we're gonna still keep it on the gram. We're just gonna move a little bit south. So with that being said, I say Instagram is a weird place.
Yes.
A very weird place. There are weird people. What do your DMs look like outside of? I'm pretty sure it's majority flooded with, you know, Muslim women and you know, women in general that, you know, are showing you love, which is amazing. But I'm pretty sure now, and even as you grow further, there are some guys, and I'm gonna say guys, I'm pretty sure it's only guys, that probably say some things or do some things that throw you off. So I just want to know, what's those experiences like? What are they, and what are they like, and how do you deal with those?
It's so funny. I feel like everybody asks me that, and I don't really get men in my DMs, like at all, like barely. And it's so like everybody thinks that like I get mad men, and I'm like, no, I really don't have a lot of men in my DMs at all, and I like it that way. Majority of my followers, like 80-something% of my followers are women.
I would imagine so.
And so I really don't, and if it is, it's like some man in another country don't know how to speak English.
Yeah, that brother's starving.
But like, and I don't know what he's saying. But like, other than that, like I don't really get men, like, or speaking inappropriately, thank God, because I know a lot of women that be getting crazy pictures, crazy
That's
stuff
what
like
I'm
that.
saying, you know?
Nah, I don't get none of that. I never got any of that. Nothing.
Now, I'm glad to hear that for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's
Good. One of the last things I wanted to get into was, you know, you've done a couple things that are, some people consider major so far in your, you know, short stint as a content creator, and that's just whatever you want to label yourself, model, fashionista, whatever you want to go by. So which one would you say, or what have you done so far that was just like, yo, wow, I can't believe I did that? Let everybody know, like something that, you know, kind of like stretch yourself a little bit. I don't know what you be doing in your spare time.
That's a good question.
Like name drop the brands. Let them know, like.
Oh, the people that I work with too. I think one big thing for me last year, I was in the New York Times, and like in the section of the New York Times of like modest fashion and like women in hijab, and it wasn't about me, but I was like a picture in that, and they did mention my name in that paper. That was a big thing.
I'm pretty sure you said that clear.
Oh yeah, it should be. I hope so. I mean, if anything, it's in it's in the picture somewhere. But that, I think the one where I was in 42nd Street, the billboard on the buses, on the bus stops, that was big for me too. Like even like more recently, I worked with like eBay, Saks Off Fit, who else? Like Pandora, like brands like that, which I didn't think I would ever work with, but yeah. I think, I'm not even sure, I'll have to really think, but those are probably like the highlights for me that I could think of right now, for sure, yeah.
All right, so lastly, I would like for you to extend some advice, if anything. I mean, you've definitely dropped gems throughout this entire time, but people watching this, there might be some young lady, she might be just like you, or maybe just a average woman, or anybody, a guy just wanting to, step foot into this world of content creation. Maybe one dreams of getting signed to, an agency. So just, steps to take, and you know, things to look out for on the way, you know, warning signs, you know, things like that. Just drop any more gems you would have for somebody that's pursuing that type of career.
For me, my main thing I always say is stay true to yourself, be yourself, because it's nothing like people you go in a following based off people that genuinely like you for you. Like, I feel like for me, I'm very blessed because I don't have to change how I talk on my stories or like how I speak, period, because people like really mess with me. So it's like when you're yourself, it's like just genuine. You know, you want to grow a genuine following. Whatever that looks like for you, find your niche. What is it, niche? Is it niche?
I believe I say niche.
I think it's niche. Okay, find your niche and stick to it. But also, you can also spread your wings too and go to other places. But I think that's the easiest thing, to find one thing to focus on right away. And then you can also branch out if you feel that's the need for that. Stay consistent. It's not going to grow overnight, and do not be discouraged by that. Just stay consistent. You should be posting at least 3-4 times a week on the gram. If not, you need to be posting at least 2. Like, and now, especially Instagram is now a video app. It's turned into a video app. As you can see, everybody doing their reels, so you need to be doing video on Instagram. It's just, pictures honestly won't do it as much as videos will now. So be creative. Do not, if you have influence from somebody else, tag them and give credit. Don't just be stealing people's stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, just be yourself and be creative. Honestly, that's really what it boils down to for me.
That's what's up. In closing, do you have anything coming up that people should be on the lookout for, or anything, or everything for you is on the hush?
Everything on the hush because I don't even know. I'm trying to figure stuff out. I think I'm trying to do some little rebranding of like what I really want my page to look like. I feel like I kind of outgrown some things, so yeah.
Changing the username again?
Nah, we keep my name. We keep my name. Absolutely not. We keeping my name, and yeah, just doing some rebranding, and yeah. But thank you for having me on here. It's fun.
For sure. Thank you. You're the first person I tried this setup
yeah,
with.
and I beat you.
Listen, that won't happen. What we're not gonna do is make me losing a trend on this little show. But this has been Who's Buzzin'. I'm Dappa Dan. This is Rayya Ansari, and I just want to thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we are out of here.